Me. I know
How
that.
come? Welcome to the River Road Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I am Reverend Connie Simon, your interim minister, and one of your worship leaders for today. If this is your first time here in person, welcome. We're glad that you're here, and we hope that you'll visit at the welcome table to figure out how to get connected and learn about some of the cool things that we do around here. Hey, YouTube. Good morning. Wave good morning, everybody, for YouTube. Hey, folks on YouTube, feel free to join in the chat with our online host. And if you're watching this at a later date, good morning, good afternoon to you as well. And as always, if you have any questions about River Road, our programming, or our activities, please visit our website at rruuc.org. A few announcements. Tonight at 5, we're having a potluck and game night in the fellowship hall. Bring a gift. Bring a gift. Yeah, bring a gift. Bring a game, bring a dish, or just yourself. And also, thanks to the 2025 spring auction, our talented, this says talented, but this is beyond talented, our amazing accompanist, Dr. Shuai Wang, will be performing in concert this afternoon here at 2 o'clock. Seats are still available for what is sure to be a fantastic show. And she's performing with a colleague, so this is a two-piano duel. Tickets are $35 at the door. You can pay online by using the keyword concert in Realm Giving or with a check. We are not able to accept cash. Our new flow programming here at River Road is off to a fantastic start with 34 of us here on Wednesday for a potluck meal and opening celebration. Join us for our next event this week, which is Spiritual Round Robin. Then on the 21st, Divine Encounter, and Popcorn Theology on Wednesday the 28th, where we will be, yes, eating popcorn and watching the movie Back to the Future to discuss the themes that it contains that relate to Unitarian Universalism. All the info for these programs and events is, of course, on Realm. And you can find things as well on the website. Welcome.
Good morning. We begin our time together by lighting our chalice.
the chosen symbol of Unitarian Universalist, with these words by Jennifer Grayson. We come together every week, not bound by a creed or mutual desire to please one God or many gods.
Yet we are drawn together by a belief that how we are in the world, who we are together, matters. We light this chalice together in the knowledge that love, not fear, can change this world.
Please rise now in body or spirit as you are willing and able, and we're going to sing a special hymn that was a special request. I don't see her here. We're going to sing hymn number 7, The Leaf Unfurling.
First of all, I would like to invite any kids or people who would like to just move around a little more to come sit on the carpet squares up here. They're available to anyone who would like some more space. This month's theme is practicing resistance. This morning, we're going to use the fairy tale, The Emperor's New Clothes, to explore how standing up for your values and what is true is resistance. It's important that we stand up for who we are and what we believe in. So our activity today is creating a representation of yourself on the paper cutouts that you've been given. If you have extras near you and there's someone else who doesn't have one, pass them along. There should be enough for everyone, I think. And if we pass them out amongst ourselves and there's still some missing, our ushers, you can just raise your hand and our ushers will bring you a paper cutout. Got one over here. Natalie is bringing them around. So knowing who you are can give you the strength to stand up for your values. So you can decorate your representation with colors, with words, with pictures, whatever describes who you are, what you enjoy doing, what you believe in, what your values are. If you're joining us on YouTube, you can take any piece of paper and draw an outline semblance of a person and do the same thing. You'll have most of the worship service to do this. Then at the end, you'll be invited to place yourself, a representation of yourself, on the back wall. And these should interlock with each other in a tessellation. it representing that we're all very different. Even though mostly you use, we come from very different places and have very different individual values. So coming together, though, we make a beautiful community. And that's it.
Good morning. I'm Laura Piervincenzi, Associate Director of Religious Education, and as Beth said, our story today is The Emperor's New Clothes by Hans Christian Andersen. A long time ago, there was an emperor so self-involved that he cared only for his own appearance. He insisted on dressing in the finest clothes, in the latest fashions created by the most famous designers. Going to the theater, riding in his carriage, or even attending military parades were only of interest to him as opportunities to show off his newest apparel.
Oh, you do look dashing.
The emperor's reputation for caring only for fine clothing spread beyond the borders of his own land. One day, a clever thief devised a plan. Disguised as a clothier to royalty, she went to see the emperor and told him of a new process of weaving they had invented.
I alone can create the rarest, most remarkable cloth.
The emperor was interested at once, and then the thief went on to say,
This cloth is so magnificent and special that it becomes invisible to anyone who is unfit for their position in the empire or unusually foolish.
Upon hearing this, the emperor was certain he must have clothes made from this extraordinary cloth.
When I wear them, I'll discover who in my empire is unfit for their posts, and I will know who is truly wise and who is a fool. Yes, I certainly must have new clothes woven from this cloth right away.
And just as the thief had hoped, he paid her a large sum of money to start work at once. For of course, the cloth did not exist. She made it up to steal from the emperor. The thief was set up with a large loom in a room in the palace. For many days and nights, she pretended to weave, though there was nothing on the loom. All the finest silk and the purest old thread which she demanded went into her traveling bags.
I'd like to know how that weaver is getting along with this cloth.
But he felt slightly uncomfortable when he remembered that those who were unfit for their position would not be able to see the fabric. It couldn't have been that he doubted himself. Yet he thought he'd rather send someone else to see how things were going. The whole town knew about the cloth's peculiar power, and all were impatient to find out how stupid their neighbors were.
I'll send my honest old minister to the weaver. She'll be the best one to tell me how the material looks, for she's sensible, and no one does their job better.
So the honest minister went to the room where the thief sat working away at the empty loom.
I don't see anything.
But she did not say so. The thief urged the minister to come near to approve the excellent pattern, the beautiful colors. She pointed to the empty loom, and the poor old minister stared as hard as she dared. She couldn't see anything because there was nothing to see.
Sweet baby Jesus. Is it possible that I'm a fool? Because I think that I would be able to see this unless maybe I'm a fool. So does that mean I'm not fit to be the minister? I better not let on.
Don't hesitate to tell me what you think.
It's just absolutely beautiful. In the whole web of interconnected existence, I've never seen anything quite like that. I'm gonna go tell the emperor just how amazingly beautiful it is.
I am so pleased to hear that.
Yeah, sure.
The thief proceeded to name all the colors and to explain the intricate pattern. The old minister paid the closest attention so that she could tell it all to the emperor. We're going to take a break now, and in a moment we'll continue.
Yes, sometimes I wonder, am I fit to be a minister? Especially in weeks like this one, when I feel called and moved and responsible to help you hold the grief and all the things that you must be feeling this week, because I know I am. And I did have one of those moments where I sat back and said, what is going on in this world? I watched the news from Minneapolis and I thought, this didn't just happen. This cannot be happening. And happen it did. And grieve we do. And question and wonder. And just try our best to sit with it. There have been many vigils this week. There will continue to be vigils. There's been much continued resistance. And our own Unitarian Universalism, through Side with Love, we are working to make sure that there are resources available for our communities, for our folks to help us get through this. The Unitarian Universalist Association issued a statement following the death of Renee Good, and I want to read that to you right now. We grieve the killing of Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother and legal observer by Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Minneapolis yesterday. An act of state violence that has stolen a life and reverberates through an already wounded community. This is not an isolated incident, but the result of policies that criminalize and enforce borders through fear, surveillance, and force rather than care. Side with Love is in solidarity with immigrant communities in Minneapolis and across the country who live under constant threat of detention, separation, and death at the hands of the state. We are in solidarity with the faithful masses of people showing up to build a world where the worth and dignity of all are held as sacred and unshakable truth. As people of faith and conscience, we are called by love to tell the truth about this violence, to accompany those most impacted, and to keep organizing toward fulfilling the promise of our communities and institutions to make safety, belonging, and freedom real for all. We join many others in demanding accountability and an immediate end to ICE operations in all our communities. We invite people of faith and conscience to grieve together, to refuse the normalization of state violence, and to commit themselves to the long work of transforming the systems that betray our deepest moral and spiritual commitments. That is the statement from our Unitarian Universalist Association. I think it is a strong statement of our beliefs, of our faith, and of what we must do. And still, I feel there is a need for us to tend our wounded hearts, And so I offer you this prayer. Spirit of life, source of love, breath of justice, we gather in sorrow and holy anger, holding the name of Renee Nicole Good, mother, legal observer, beloved child of the universe, whose life was stolen by an act of state violence. We name her, we remember her, we grieve her. In this moment, we open our hearts to all who knew and loved Renee, to her children who have lost their mother, to the Minneapolis community shaken by this trauma, and to immigrant families across this nation who live each day under the shadow of fear. May our grief not render us passive. May our tears water the seeds of transformation. We confess our complicity in systems that value some lives over others, that draw lines of belonging and exclusion, that wield violence in the name of order. We have been too quiet, too comfortable, too slow to act. Guide us now toward courage. Strengthen us for the long work of dismantling these structures of harm. Help us to accompany those most affected, to amplify voices crying out for justice, to build communities where every person's inherent worth is honored and protected. May Renee's life and death not be in vain. May her witness as a legal observer inspire us to observe what is happening here, to refuse to look away, and to stand in solidarity with those targeted by state violence. We commit ourselves to this sacred work of creating true safety, genuine belonging, and freedom for all people. In grief and in hope, we say together, Amen, and may it be so. Please join me now in a moment of silent meditation, reflection, or prayer, after which we'll sing together hymn 1053, How Could Anyone?
thief at once asked for more money, more silk and gold thread to continue her weaving, but it all went into her pockets. Not a thread went into the loom, though she seemed to work harder than ever. Not long after, the emperor sent another trustworthy official to see how the work progressed and how soon it would be ready. The same thing happened to that official that had happened to the minister. He looked and he looked, but as there was nothing to see in the loom, he couldn't see anything.
Yeah, that's,
Isn't it beautiful?
okay, seriously, like, I can't see anything here. I can't let anybody know that I don't see this. Yeah.
Praised the material he did not see. He declared he was delighted with the beautiful colors and the exquisite pattern. To the emperor, he said,
It just left me speechless. I've never seen such a thing.
all the town was talking of this splendid cloth, and the emperor decided to see it for himself while it was still in the looms. Attended by a band of chosen officers, including the minister and the most trusted official, the emperor went to see the thief. He found her weaving with might, but without a thread in the loom.
That is amazing. Look at that, Emperor. Look at all the colors. Isn't it fabulous? Look at the design.
They pointed to the empty loom, each supposing that the other could see the fabric.
What's this? I can't see anything. This is terrible. Am I a fool? Am I unfit to be the emperor? What? How could this happen to me? It's very pretty. I give it top marks, highest praise, very gorgeous, good work.
He nodded in approval at the empty loom. Nothing could make him say that he couldn't see anything. The whole band of officials stared and stared. One saw no more than another, but they all joined the emperor in exclaiming, "Oh, it's very pretty." And they advised him to wear the clothes made of this wonderful cloth for the great procession he was soon to lead. Magnificent, excellent, unsurpassed, they all exclaimed, and everyone did their best to seem well pleased. The emperor presented the thief with a badge to wear that bestowed upon her the title of Royal Weaver. Wow. Before the procession, the thief sat up all night and burned more than 6 candles to show how busy she was finishing the emperor's new clothes. She pretended to take the cloth off the loom. She made cuts in the air with huge scissors. And at last, she said,
Now, the emperor's new clothes are ready for him to wear.
and another break.
It's hard being a minister and an official. In support of our congregation and the community beyond, the morning offering will be gratefully received. We do so mindful of the fact that we draw water from wells we did not dig and pick fruit from trees we did not plant. This is as it should be, so long as we dig and plant for those who come after. If this is your first time visiting, please feel free to let the plate or the basket pass you by. Your presence is your gift to us. To learn more about why we collect an offering every Sunday and how we use our financial treasures, please visit our website at RRUUC. You can find information there about our programming, and you can also make a gift there by clicking the blue Give Online button. You can also text to give. The text to give number is 73256. So text RRUUC and the amount you'd like to give to the number 73256. You'll get a link that'll explain how to complete your donation. Thank you for sharing your time, your talents, and your treasures.
Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes.
Lift up your eyes.
Don't you despair.
Don't you despair.
Look up ahead.
Look up ahead.
The path is there.
The path is there.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared.
I know you're scared.
And I'm scared too.
And I'm scared too.
But here I am.
But here I am.
Right next to you.
Right next to you.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love and lead with love and lead with love and lead with love.
On the day of the procession, the emperor went with his noblest noblemen to receive his new clothes. The thief raised her arms as if she were holding something. She said,
These are the trousers. Here's a coat. And this is the magnificent robe. All of them are light as a spider web. One would almost think you had nothing on. But that's what makes them so fine.
Exactly, all the noblemen agreed, though they could see nothing, for there was nothing to see.
Now, if your Imperial Majesty would just remove your clothes, I'll help you on with the new garments in front of this beautiful long mirror.
The emperor undressed, and the thief pretended to put the new clothes on him, one garment after another. She took him around the waist and seemed to be fastening something on as the emperor turned round and round before the looking glass. "How well your majesty's new clothes look! Aren't they becoming?" he heard on all sides. "That pattern so perfect, those colors so suitable. It is a magnificent outfit." Then the Minister of Public Processions announced, "Your Majesty, it is time."
Well, I suppose I'm ready.
He turned again for one last look in the mirror.
You look great.
It is a remarkable fit, isn't it?
He seemed to regard the outfit with the greatest interest. The noblemen who were to carry the train of his robe stooped low and reached for the floor as if they were picking up the train. Then they pretended to lift and hold it high. They didn't dare admit they had nothing to hold. Off went the emperor in procession. Everyone in the streets and the windows said, "Oh, how fine are the emperor's new clothes! Don't they fit him to perfection? And see his long train." No one would confess that they couldn't see anything, for that would prove them unfit or a fool. No outfit the emperor had worn before was ever such a complete success. A father in the crowd lifted his small child onto his shoulders to give them a good view of the emperor. The child looked and then exclaimed,
"He has nothing on."
The high pitch of the small child's voice rang out among the crowd. Everyone assembled started to whisper, if this innocent child who has no one to impress says the emperor is not wearing anything, it must be true."
That's too bad.
The emperor shivered, for he knew at once that they were right. But he dared not lose his dignity, for what else does an emperor have, really?
Not clothes.
He threw back his shoulders, lifted his chin high, and finished the parade in what was perhaps the only truly royal action of his life. As for the thief, she was long gone, with the emperor's gold and the finest silk and thread. The end.
Please give some love to Laura for putting that story together for us. And to Adrian and Beth for showing their talents this morning. We need things like that sometimes, don't we? And even though that's a children's story and a story about the emperor and his clothes, I think it's really not about clothes at all, is it? It's about something much more important, the courage to tell the truth when everybody else around you is pretending. Think about the adults in the story. That minister, not me, but that minister. The official, again, not me, that official. The nobleman, not me, somebody else. The emperor. Every one of them could see perfectly well that there wasn't anything there. Their eyes worked just fine, but they talked themselves out of trusting what they knew to be true. Why? Because they were afraid. They were afraid of looking foolish. They were afraid of being wrong. They were afraid of what other people might think, so they just went along with something that made absolutely no sense at all. And then there was the child. The child who simply said what was real. he has nothing on. Now, I want to be clear. The child wasn't smarter than the adults, although I think she probably is. The child wasn't braver exactly. The child simply hadn't learned yet to doubt their own eyes. They hadn't learned to value what other people think more than what they themselves can see. And that's what happens to us as we grow up, isn't it? We learn to second guess ourselves. We learn to go along to get along. We learn that sometimes it feels safer to pretend than to speak up. And sometimes that makes sense. We live in community with other people. We need to cooperate. We need to listen to each other. We need to be kind. But there's a difference between being kind and pretending something false is true. There's a difference between respecting different perspectives and denying reality. There's a difference between being thoughtful and silencing yourself when you know in your heart something is wrong. Our first principle affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and that includes you. Your perspective matters. Your truth matters. What you see and know and experience matters. Just as what everyone else sees and experiences matters. When the minister looked at the empty loom and thought, I can't see anything, that was her truth. But when she said, oh, it's beautiful, it's enchanting, she betrayed herself. She decided that protecting her reputation was more important than being honest. The emperor did the same thing. He cared more about appearing wise than about being real. And because of that, he ended up parading through the town in his underwear while everybody else pretended not to notice. It would be funny if it weren't so sad. It would be funny if it weren't so familiar. How many times have we seen this happen in public? How many times have we done this in our own lives? Gone along with something we knew wasn't right because we didn't want to make waves. Stayed quiet when we should have spoken up. Pretended to understand something that we really didn't understand. Agreed with the crowd even though our gut was telling us something different. How many of you are hearing in your mind's ear right now a parent or guardian saying, if so-and-so jumped off the bridge, would you do it too? I want to tell you something important, and I especially want our younger people to hear this. Your gut knows things. That feeling that you get when something just doesn't feel right to you, pay attention to it. Listen to it. When that voice in your head says, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense to me, stop and listen to it. You don't have to be rude about it, you don't have to be mean, but you also don't have to lie about what you see and what you know and what you experience. The child in our story didn't say, you're all stupid for not seeing that dude is naked. The child simply stated the truth. He has nothing on. Clear, direct, and honest. And you know what happened? Once the truth was spoken out loud, everybody could finally admit what they'd known all along. The spell was broken and everybody could stop pretending. That's the gift of speaking truth. It gives other people permission to be real too. It creates space for honesty. It reminds us that we don't have to keep playing along with things that aren't true. In our world today, within probably a 20-mile radius of where we are right now, this matters more than ever. We live in times when it can be hard to know what's real, what's pretend, and what is just sheer lunacy. We live in a time when people with power sometimes, lots of times, most of the time, try to convince us that what we're seeing and experiencing isn't actually happening or that it's something else. They point to the sky and say, that sky is a beautiful shade of red, isn't it? And we know that sky is blue. We live in times when it takes courage for us to say, no, I see what I see. I know what I see. I see a blue sky. Now, this doesn't mean that sometimes we can't be wrong. Of course we can be wrong sometimes. We all make mistakes. We all misunderstand things sometimes. That's why we need each other. That's why we listen to each other. That's why we stay open to conversation and dialogue and learning from one another. But there's a difference between being open to learning and abandoning your own judgment entirely. There's a difference between humility and self-betrayal. So here's what I want to leave you with today. You matter. Your truth matters. Your voice matters. Don't give that away just because speaking up feels uncomfortable. Be like the child. See what's real. Trust what you know. And when it matters, when something important is at stake, have the courage to say your truth, to say what is true. Because that's how we build beloved community. Not by all pretending together, but by being honest together, by trusting each other enough to be real, by creating spaces where everyone's truth can be spoken and heard. River Road, let's be a community where we don't have to pretend, where we can see what's real and we can say what's true, where we trust ourselves and each other enough to resist the crowd even when the crowd is wrong. Let us be a place where every voice matters, where children and youth alike, where adults, seniors, the elderly, the disabled, the infirm, those who are neurodivergent, those who are genderqueer, where everyone can speak their truth, where we have the courage to be exactly who we are. The emperor learned his lesson the hard way. We can learn it an easier way, together, in honesty, and with love. Amen, and blessed be. You feel like singing? Okay. Please rise in body or spirit as you're willing and able, and let's sing a song about being on a journey together. Number 1020, Wo Ya Ya.
We hope you've enjoyed creating your figures during the service. We invite you now to go to the back wall and tape them up. They do interlock, so we'll try and do that and help you as we go. There are tape loops on the wall as well as many rolls of tape. Thanks.
After you've done it, come back to your seats. The service isn't quite over. After you've hung yourself, remember to come back to your seats. I'm gonna keep going. I know everyone hasn't had a chance to hang theirs, but I see some of you are beginning to turn this into coffee hour, so I'm just going to keep going with the service, and maybe that will encourage you to come back. We still have something important to do. We need to talk about living our values and how we do that in the world in these coming weeks. The first thing you can do, the most immediate thing you can do, is go grab a cup of coffee and then come back to the sanctuary for a congregational conversation with the Board of Trustees. You will be reviewing and discussing a new proposed policy for delegates to General Assembly, as well as catching up on the board's recent work. General Assembly registration has already opened, and we will be beginning the process of delegate selection very, very soon. So if you are interested in understanding how we function as part of the larger Unitarian Universalist Association, this would be a good opportunity to come. Also, young adults aged 18 to 35 are invited to an introductory small group specifically for you next Sunday, January 18th, from 11:30 to 1 in room 32. You'll explore the monthly spiritual theme using our Soul Matters material, and for January, as we've said, it's practicing resistance. Lunch will be provided. We do ask you to sign up on Realm so that we know how much food to get. Or if you really can't, just show up and we'll make it work. If you have questions, please contact Beth Irakura. The third thing I'd like to, well, two more things. If you want to engage in protests, vigils, rallies right now, please visit the Side with Love website of the UUA. There are listings of vigils happening all over the country in regard to or dealing with our current political situation. And finally, next Saturday evening at the UU Church in Arlington, there will be an MLK service featuring music and several speakers presenting the words of Dr. King. That event is at 6:30 p.m. And now we close our time of worship by extinguishing our chalice and reciting aloud these words by Elizabeth Sell Jones. Together we say, "We extinguish this flame, not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again." As we prepare to leave this place, I hope that each of you remembers the story that we heard today. Remember that your voice matters. Remember, trust your gut. Remember that we all have a role to play in this world. By way of benediction, the phrase that comes to my mind right now comes from the Christian tradition, which is simply, "Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace." May we all be instruments of peace this week. Amen.